They say the truth will set you free, but what they don't tell you is that truth comes at a price. It doesn't make you popular. It doesn't make you loved. No, the truth makes you dangerous. Because when you're real, when you strip away the masks and speak from the heart, you become a threat to everything fake in this world. People don't want the truth. They want comfort. They want lies that sound like lullabies, whispers that ease their insecurities. But you're not here to sing them to sleep. You're here to wake them up. And that's why they'll hate you. Not because you've done something wrong, but because you've shown them something real in a world built on illusions. You'll lose people, friends, family, lovers. One by one, they'll slip away, unable to handle the weight of your honesty, and it'll hurt. Oh, it'll cut deep. But remember this: losing the fake is never a loss. It's freedom. The funny thing about being real is that it exposes the lies in others. Your presence alone becomes a mirror, forcing them to see what they've buried, what they've denied, what they've been too scared to face. And instead of dealing with it, they'll point the finger at you. They'll label you the problem, the villain in their story. You can't save people from their own shadows. You can't make them see what they refuse to acknowledge. So, let them go. Let them cling to their illusions, if that's what they need to survive. But don't you dare let them drag you down into their darkness. Because here's the thing. When you're real, you walk a lonely road. But that road, it leads somewhere. It leads to peace, to purpose, to a life that's yours and yours alone. And in the end, that's what matters. Not who you've lost, but who you've become. Let them call you cold. Let them say you're selfish, heartless, unfeeling. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you've stayed true to yourself. Because at the end of the day, the only person you have to live with is you. And trust me, there's no prison worse than living a life that isn't yours. When you're real, you don't beg, you don't chase, you don't bend to fit into their little boxes. You stand tall, even if it means standing alone, because you know your worth. You know that being real is a gift, a rare, raw, unapologetic gift. And if they can't see that, if they choose to walk away, that's their loss, not yours. You didn't lose them, they lost you. And people like you, they don't come around often. You're a reminder of what they could be if only they had the courage to be real. But not everyone is ready for that kind of freedom. Not everyone is ready for you. Here's the truth no one wants to admit. People leave because they're scared. Scared of your strength, your honesty, your clarity. Scared of the fact that you don't need them to validate you. And that fear, it makes them run. But let them go, because their absence is a blessing in disguise. It's a clearing, a space for something better, something truer. You see, being real is a filter. It weeds out the weak, the fake, the ones who were never meant to stay. And what you're left with? That's gold. That's loyalty. The kind that doesn't waver, doesn't flinch, doesn't crumble under the weight of your truth. So stop worrying about who's leaving. Start focusing on who's staying. Start focusing on yourself. Because when you're real, when you refuse to compromise, you become a beacon. And the right people, they'll find their way to you. It's not your job to make people comfortable. It's not your job to soften your edges, to dim your light, to shrink yourself into something they can handle. Your job is to be you, fully, unapologetically, unrelentingly you. And yes, it'll hurt, it'll break your heart to see people walk away, to feel the sting of their judgment, their rejection. But don't let that pain make you bitter. Let it make you better. Let it remind you that being real isn't for the weak, it's for the brave. You don't need everyone. You just need the truth. And when you have that, when you live in alignment with who you are, there's nothing you can't overcome. There's no storm you can't weather, no mountain you can't climb. Because the strength that comes from being real, it's unshakable. So let them hate. Let them whisper. Let them leave. You'll still be standing. Stronger, freer, truer than ever before. Because you know something they don't. The only thing worse than losing people is losing yourself. And you'll never let that happen. Not now, not ever. Keep being real. Keep being you. And watch as the world bends to your truth. They'll laugh behind your back, point fingers, and weave their stories. They'll call you names, brand you the villain, and paint you in shade. But guess what? Their words don't define you. Their whispers are the desperate cries of people who couldn't break you, people who couldn't control you, people who couldn't understand you. They'll call you arrogant because you stopped explaining yourself. They'll call you heartless because you stopped giving chances to those who betrayed you. But what they really mean is that they hate the way you've learned to protect yourself. They hate the way you've built walls they can't climb. They hate the way you've mastered the art of walking away. And let's face it, walking away is power. It's not weakness. No, it's strength. Strength to say, I deserve better. Strength to leave behind the lies, the games, the half-hearted apologies. Strength to choose yourself when no one else will. They'll try to guilt you, manipulate you, pull you back into their world of shadows. They'll use every trick in the book tears, anger, promises they'll never keep. But you've seen through it all, haven't you? You've felt the sting of their betrayal one too many times. You've played their game and walked away scarred. Not anymore. Because now you know better. You've learned that peace is priceless. That no amount of company is worth the cost of your sanity. That sometimes solitude is salvation. It's not loneliness, it's freedom. And freedom, it's the one thing they can't stand you having. They want you chain into their approval, their validation, their acceptance. But you've broken free, haven't you? You've shattered the chains, burned the bridges, and walked into the unknown with nothing but your truth. And here's the thing about truth. It's a weapon. A double-edged sword. It cuts through the lies, but it also cuts you. It's raw, it's painful, and it's not for the faint of heart. But you've embraced it. You've bled for it. You've let it carve you into someone unrecognizable, someone unstoppable. You're not the same person you were, and that's what terrifies them. They look at you and see the parts of themselves they'll never have the courage to face. They see strength where they only feel weakness. They see freedom where they only feel trapped. So let them hate, let them sneer, let them turn their backs. Because their rejection isn't your burden, it's your liberation. Their absence isn't your loss, it's your gain. You've learned to walk alone, and in doing so, you've discovered something extraordinary. You don't need anyone's permission to be happy. You don't need anyone's validation to feel whole. You found something they'll never have. Peace within yourself. And that's the ultimate revenge, isn't it? Not anger, not bitterness, not a desire to prove them wrong. Just peace. The kind of peace that comes from knowing you stayed true to yourself. The kind of peace that comes from knowing you didn't fold, didn't break, didn't compromise. They'll wonder how you do it though. You keep rising, keep thriving, keep moving forward despite everything they threw at you. And you'll smile, not out of spite, not out of arrogance, but out of knowing. Knowing that you chose the hard road, the lonely road, the road of truth. Because at the end of the day, that's what it all comes down to. Truth. Not the polished lies they tell themselves. Not the masks they wear. Not the games they play. Just truth. Raw, unfiltered, unapologetic truth. And you are the embodiment of that truth. You are the fire that refuses to be extinguished. The storm that refuses to be tamed. The soul that refuses to settle. So keep walking, keep rising, keep being real. Because in a world that thrives on fake, being real is the most revolutionary thing you can do. Let them hate you. Let them fear you. Let them walk away. Because you know the truth. They hate you because they know they could never be you. And that's their loss. But you'll keep moving forward. You'll keep building, keep growing, keep living. Because at the end of the day, the only person you need to answer to is yourself. And you've been real to everyone. And that is your power. That is your legacy. That is you. You see, the world doesn't honor the real ones while they're here. It waits. It waits until you're gone, until your voice is silenced, until your presence is nothing but a memory. Then, suddenly, they'll call you a visionary. They'll call you a rebel. They'll admire your strength, your resilience, your unshakable truth. But not while you're alive. Not while you're still breathing fire, because the world fears what it cannot control. It fears those who don't conform, those who don't bend, those who don't break. And you've refused to play their game. You've refused to trade your authenticity for their approval. And that's what makes you dangerous. Dangerous, not because you hurt others, but because you expose them. You hold up a mirror to their mediocrity, their cowardice, their hypocrisy, and that terrifies them. They'll call you selfish because you chose yourself. They'll call you ruthless because you refuse to settle. But let me tell you something: selfishness it's survival. It's saying, I matter too. It's knowing that you can't pour from an empty cup. And ruthless is just a word people use to describe those who won't compromise their worth. Ruthless is what they call people who don't hand over soul on a silver platter. If that's ruthless, then wear it like a badge. Because it means you've chosen yourself in a world that wants you to choose everything else. Let them misunderstand you. Let them twist your actions, your words, your truth. Because at the end of the day, their opinions are just noise. Background static in a world that's already too loud. The truth is, you were never meant to fit in. You were never meant to blend into the background, to follow the script, to play by their rules. You were meant to stand out, to disrupt, to challenge. You were meant to be the spark in a world that's afraid of fire. And yes, it's lonely. God, it's lonely. But loneliness isn't a curse. It's a crucible. It's where you find yourself. It's where you strip away the layers of who they told you to be and discover who you truly are. Loneliness teaches you to be your own anchor, your own light, your own savior. It teaches you that you don't need their approval, their validation, their love to be whole. You are enough. You've always been enough. And when you finally realize that, when you finally embrace the solitude, the silence, the stillness, that's become unstoppable. That's when you rise above the noise, above the chaos, above the lies. That's when you see the world for what it really is: a game where most people are too afraid to make their own moves, too afraid to play by their own rules. But not you. You've stepped out of line, out of the system, out of the cage they tried to lock you in. You become the player they fear the most, the one who doesn't need anyone else to win. So let them hate. Let them talk. Let them doubt you, dismiss you, write you off, because their words are not echoes in an empty room. And you're too busy building, growing, thriving. You're not just walking through life. You're carving your path, step by step, with blood, sweat, and determination. You're not waiting for the world to hand you anything, because you've realized the truth: they'll never hand you what you deserve. You have to take it. Take every moment, every opportunity, every chance, and make it yours. Take the pain, the rejection, the heartbreak, and turn it into your power. The world will try to break you again and again, but every time you put yourself back together, you'll come back stronger, sharper, and more unstoppable. They don't hate you because of what you've done. They hate you because of what you represent. Freedom, independence, Strength. You're the living proof that they don't control you, that you're beyond their grasp. And that terrifies them more than anything. But don't let their fear become your burden. Their fear is theirs to carry, not yours. You weren't born to shrink, to dim your light, to make others comfortable. You were born to shine, to burn so brightly that it forces them to see their own shadows. And yes, it's exhausting. Yes, it's lonely. Yes, it feels like the weight of the world is on your shoulders. But don't you dare give up. Don't you dare let their small minds make you question your worth. You are here for a reason. You are here to shake things up, to break the mold, to rewrite the rules. Because if you don't keep going, keep fighting, keep rising, then who will? Who will show them what's possible? Who will prove that you can be real, be raw, be unapologetically you, and still win? The world doesn't need more people who follow the crowd. It doesn't need more people who blend in, who settle, who stay silent. The world needs more people like you, people who aren't afraid to stand out, to speak up, to live loud and live true. They'll try to silence you, to shame you, to make you doubt yourself. But remember this, every time they tear you down, they're only giving you more bricks to build with. Every insult, every rejection, every betrayal is just fuel for your fire. So let them talk. Let them judge. Let them misunderstand you. Because you're not here to please them. You're here to become the best version of yourself. And that's worth more than all the approval in the world. When you finally reach the top, when you look back at everything you've been through, you'll see the truth. They didn't make you. They didn't shape you. They didn't define you. You did that. You built yourself from the ground up, piece by piece, through every trial, every failure, every moment of doubt. And you'll realize something even more powerful. You didn't just prove them wrong. You proved yourself right. You proved that you are stronger, braver, and more capable than you ever thought possible. So don't let their hate, their fear, their jealousy hold you back. Use it. Use it to fuel your fire, to drive you forward, to remind you of who you are and what you're capable of. Because at the end of the day, it's not about them. It's not about their opinions, their expectations, their approval. It's about you, your journey, your growth, your truth. Live your life for you. Fight for your dreams, your goals, your happiness. And when the world tries to stop you, to break you, to make you doubt yourself, just remember this: you don't need them. You've never needed them. All you've ever needed is within you. The strength, the resilience, the fire, it's all there, waiting for you to tap into it. So tap into it. Use it. Rise above the noise, the hate, the doubt, and show the world what you're made of. Because you're not just here to survive. You're here to thrive, to conquer, to leave your mark. And no one can take that away from you. You see, the world loves to put people in boxes. They want you to fit into their neat little categories. Be like this. Act like that. Live by their rules. But what happens when you don't fit? What happens when you refuse to play their game? That's when they start to hate you. But here's the secret. Their hate is nothing more than their own fear in disguise. They fear you because you remind them of what they're not. You remind them of the risks they didn't take, the dreams they gave up on, the fire they let die. You are everything they were too afraid to be, and that terrifies them. So, let them hate. Let them point their fingers, whisper their lies, and throw their stones. Their hatred is powerless, unless you let it touch your soul. And why would you? You've come too far, fought too hard, to let their words undo you. Because deep down, they don't hate you for who you are. They hate you for what you represent. Freedom. A life unchained, untamed, and unapologetically real. They hate you because you don't need them, because you figured out how to stand tall on your own. You've realized something they never could. When you stop needing people to validate you, you start living for real. It's a funny thing, isn't it? The more you love yourself, the less you need their love. The more you respect yourself, the less you crave their approval. And the moment you stop seeking their validation, their opinions lose all their power. But that's when they'll come for you the hardest. They'll try to tear you down, drag your name through the mud, make you feel like you're the villain in their story. Let them. Let them play their games, spin their lies, create their little narratives. Because the truth is stronger than any lie they can tell. And the truth is this: you don't need them. You never did. Every time you stood alone, every time you faced the darkness without a hand to hold, every time you fought through the pain, you proved that you're stronger than they'll ever understand. They'll never know what it's like to walk through the fire and come out stronger, but you do. You've been through hell, and you've come out the other side. You've seen the worst of what life can throw at you, and you're still here. That's power. That's resilience. That's strength. And they hate you for it. But their hate, it's meaningless. It's noise. It's the desperate cries of people who are too afraid to face their own demons. So keep going, keep building. Keep fighting for the life you deserve. Let their hate fuel your fire. Let their doubt sharpen your focus. Let their jealousy remind you of how far you've come. Because one day, they'll look at you, and they won't see the person they tried to break. They'll see someone they can't touch, can't stop, can't bring down. And that will be their greatest fear come to life. You don't need them to believe in you. You don't need their support, their validation, their approval. All you need is the fire inside you, the determination in your soul, and the courage to keep moving forward. You're not here to be liked. You're not here to fit in. You're here to live, to grow, to rise, and to shine. Let them hate, let them doubt, let them watch as you build the life they told you was impossible. Because at the end of the day, it's not about them, it's about you, your journey, your legacy. So don't stop, don't settle, don't let their noise drown out your truth. Keep moving forward, step by step, with the fire in your heart and the strength in your soul. Because they can hate you, but they can't stop you. They can doubt you, but they can't break you. They can try to hold you back, but you'll keep rising. And one day, when they see what you've built, what you've overcome, and who you've become, they'll realize the truth. Their hate was never about you. It was about them. But by then, it won't matter, because you'll be too far ahead, too strong, too unbreakable to even notice. You don't need them. You've never needed them. And that is your greatest strength. You see, they'll try to rewrite your story. They'll claim you were lucky or that you had it easy. They'll ignore the sleepless nights, the tears you hid, the battles you fought alone. They'll pretend they didn't see you clawing your way out of the darkness, dragging yourself forward when the weight of the world tried to crush you. Let them. Let them tell their little stories. The truth doesn't need defending, and it doesn't need to be explained. The truth lives in the results. Because when they see you standing tall, when they see the empire you've built from the ashes, they'll know. Oh, they'll know. And it'll burn them inside. Here's the thing. Not everyone's going to clap for you. Not everyone's going to cheer for your success or celebrate your wins. But why would you care? Their applause is just noise. It doesn't build you. It doesn't define you. What defines you is the fire you kept alive when the world went cold. What defines the strength you found when everything fell apart. What defines you is the refusal to give up. Even when no one was watching. Even when no one believed in you. And that scares them. Because they know they'd crumble if they had to walk even a day in your shoes. But you've been forged in the fire. You've been shaped by the storms. Every scar, every bruise, every heartache, it's all part of the armor you wear today. And that armor, it's unbreakable. They don't understand the power of someone who's had to rebuild themselves from nothing. They don't understand the depth of someone who's lost it all and still found a way to rise. And that's why they hate you. Not because you're weak, but because you're strong. Not because you failed, but because you refused to stay down. Let me tell you something. You didn't come this far to stop now. You didn't survive all that pain just to let their opinions hold you back. You're here for a reason. You're here to build, to grow, to conquer. So let them talk, let them hate, let them throw their stones and spread their lies. Every insult they hurl at you is just a reflection of their own insecurities, their own fears, their own failures. You don't have time to hate them back. You're too busy building, too busy chasing your dreams, too busy proving to yourself, not to them that you are unstoppable. And when they see you succeed, when they see you standing at the top, unshaken, unstoppable, they'll be the ones left questioning their own worth. They'll be the ones wondering why they wasted so much energy hating you instead of fixing themselves. But by then it won't matter, because you'll be too far ahead, too strong, too focused on the life you're creating. You don't need them to believe in you. You don't need their approval, acceptance, their love. All you need is the fire inside you, the determination to keep going, and the courage to face whatever comes your way. Because you're not here to please them, you're here to rise, you're here to conquer, you're here to become everything they said you couldn't be. So rise, conquer, become, and let their hate fuel your fire. Because the more they hate you, the more you know you're doing something right.